At this time, I'd like to invite our incense lighters forward. And if the rest of you all would like to open your chant books to page 2, in the middle of the page, you'll find the incense lighting gatha, and you can follow along with me. In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Good morning. It's really great to see you all today. Looking out, I see a lot of new faces or faces that I don't recognize. And that doesn't mean they're all new, but I just am warmed by this sense of Sangha this morning. So thank you all for being here. My name is Nasanskara. I'm a Dharma teacher intern here at the temple. A couple of courtesy announcements before we begin. We have some restrooms through those curtains right there. If at any time you need to get up, use the restroom. If you need to stretch your legs, there's a downstairs area through here. You can go down the stairs. Feel free to be down there. There's a library, kitchen area, quiet seating, water fountain, another restroom. So that place is for your use. During the service, we would ask that you refrain from walking here in front of the dais, in between the seated folks and the dais. So if you could walk around the backside, we would appreciate that. And at this time, we can stand and greet each other silently. And if you remain standing, we can open our chant books to page 3. And we will recite our the 3 refuge vows. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to practice mindful breathing and smiling, looking deeply into things. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to offer joy to one person in the morning, and to help relieve the grief of one person in the afternoon. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. And if you would turn the page to the next page, we will recite the Heart Sutra. Dhamma Prajna Paramita
passion, from the deep practice of prajna, paramita, perceive the emptiness of all five skandhas, and deliver all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. No form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind. No realm of sight. No realm of consciousness. No ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance. No old age and death, nor extinction of them. No suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all delusive views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna, paramita, is the great Dharani, the radiant, fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, aragate, arasamgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, aragate, arasamgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, aragate, arasamgate, bodhisattva. The prajna, paramita, hridaya, sutra.
You all may be seated. Well, as I said, my name is Nasanskara. I'm a Dharma teacher intern here at the temple. So good morning once again. At the beginning of this year in January, my mother passed away. When I was practicing this talk at home with my wife, I read it to her, and she said, "Whoa, that escalated quickly." But to dive right into what I want to say, as you can imagine, leading up to and after her passing, a lot of folks reached out to me to show kindness, ask me how I was doing, offer their condolences and well wishes. And one friend in particular, someone I have a great deal of respect for, offered their kind words of support and let me know that we were in their thoughts and prayers. I can tell you that I haven't always had the highest opinion of thoughts and prayers. I think this opinion started to form around the massive school shootings that, we began to witness tragically back in the beginning of, I guess, the 2000s. I'm not sure on the dates, but as I witnessed these tragedies unfold, and then both nationally and then also in my personal life, things happening around me, there was always this great inaction. There'd be this unspeakable event, and I would look to people around to say, what are we going to do about this? We look to our leaders of the country, to folks in our community. And what I saw, I think, repeatedly was the offering of thoughts and prayers. Young people in our community having their lives cut short by drug abuse and gun violence. This was not something that was just in the news for me. It was something that touched my life repeatedly as I was growing up. Some of my best friends that I grew up with have been lost to drug abuse and gun violence. And after each of these tragedies, as I looked around me, out into the world for the response, it was just the same thing, the offering of thoughts and prayers. What action did I witness people engaged in to elicit the change that I thought was needed to begin to prevent these tragedies? And they are preventable. They were preventable, but again, lots of thoughts and prayers. And so, we witnessed innumerable tragedies, suicide, war, thoughts and prayers, So I developed this view, not to harp on it too much, but I developed this view that thoughts and prayers were essentially useless. And not only that, but they were worse than useless because they were actually in the way of legitimate, actionable change, what I thought we really needed. And so for me, just like that, they became a part of the problem, right? A hindrance to the change that we needed. But fast forwarding some years into my Buddhist practice, into me having maybe growing a little bit more maturity, growth in my change within myself. I began to have a softening of my previously set opinions and views, softening of my heart. And I began to have this understanding that my view wasn't the view. And because of this, when my mother passed away and my friend offered me their thoughts and prayers, I had a completely different feeling about it. It was this feeling of comfort that actually kind of surprised me. I was comforted by the knowledge that I and my sorrow were a part of someone else's thoughts. And also, along with this, a deep gratitude, regardless of what I believed about the usefulness of prayers. The healing, comforting power of prayer was real to my friend, and they were praying them for me. And, it's hard for me to convey the depth of the gratitude that I felt at that time. because in Buddhism, we don't pray to an omnipotent creator God, a being with self-existence, that we look to answer our prayers. Some of us might be or can be thrown off by the word pray or the thoughts of praying or prayers. And so to try and put it in a little bit different framework, the view that I have is kind of like this. In the Avatamsaka Sutra, you can find various translations of the line, if you want to understand all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, then you should view the nature of the universe as created by mind alone. In Old Path, White Clouds, Thich Nhat Hanh echoes the Avatamsaka Sutra, where he says, everything in the universe is created by our own mind. Our mind is the source of all phenomena. Form, sound, smell, taste, and tactile perception, such as hot and cold, hard and soft, all creations of our mind. They do not really exist the way that we think they do. No phenomenon exists outside of our mind. So, could it be that the healing power of thoughts and prayers that I so scornfully dismissed as impotent was only impotent because I dismissed it? Now, please don't misunderstand me. I do believe that we as a society must embark on a course of real actionable change to bring about the change that we need. It's to help folks in the world and some of these things that we desperately need. So we mustn't stop and rest at thoughts and prayers, but offering them to those in need, to our sorrowful friends, to a world in need of healing, is a wonderful way to practice generosity, which is the first paramita, and loving kindness and compassion. And I can certainly attest to the comforting nature of receiving them. So all of these thoughts I had about my friend offering me thoughts and prayers didn't arise just because this person is my friend. I can assure you, I know this because I was fairly shocked by my feelings about it. The way my heart filled with gratitude. And because of that, I spent a lot of time reflecting on this. And during this reflection, I came back to another instance that I thought was relatable, where I myself had offered words that were meant to comfort, but afterward I had feared may have fallen short. It was here from the dais about a year ago when a Sangha member during Joys and Concerns shared their concern for the people of Gaza. And they added, along with that, a general concern for the state of the world. And what I heard when they said that was familiar to me. It was this feeling of being overwhelmed by everything that we see on the news, everything that is happening, that if not countered, can lead to despondency. And so I said at that time, sitting here, when feeling overwhelmed about the state of the world, it's my practice just to focus on what I can control. Those lives I have the ability to touch. And so I practice loving kindness with those around me, in my circle, my neighbors, those I encounter. And although doing that may be just a drop in the ocean, the ripples from those drops that we leave have the power to travel across the ocean and have an effect on people suffering in all parts of the world. After this, I thought, and I thought on this for months after this, that it seemed like, a person came and said, I'm really concerned about these people being bombed in Gaza. And I said, well, we should just be nice to our neighbors and that will help. So I really wanted to sort of be able to put that into a little bit better context. What I really want people to know is that the feeling that we have about being overwhelmed from the state of the world, by the horrible things that we see on the news happening at home and far away, can lead to despondency, but that despondency itself is suffering. It's the second arrow of dukkha that the Buddha will talk about. So, but if we understand that, one, how to water the seeds of peace and joy within our own minds, and that manifesting that peace within ourselves will affect others, then we know that we have inside of us the power to change the world. Again, Thich Nhat Hanh says, every time a seed has an occasion to manifest itself, it produces new seeds of the same kind. If we are angry for 5 minutes, new seeds of anger are produced and deposited in the soil of our unconscious mind. That is why we have to be careful selecting the kind of life we lead and the emotions we express. When I smile, the seeds of smiling and joy have come up. As long as they manifest, new seeds of smiling and joy are planted. But if I don't practice smiling for a number of years, the seeds will weaken, and I may not be able to smile anymore. So reflecting on thoughts and prayers as I was, and recalling this exchange with the Sangha member about Gaza, I realized that this thing that I believed in wholeheartedly, the healing power of manifesting loving kindness, is strikingly similar to this other thing that I had previously deemed utterly useless. Old me was like, what we need is real action, not thoughts and prayers. And, in reflecting on this, I see that isn't the action in thoughts and prayers the same as the action in a practice of loving kindness? And isn't this what we do with joys and concerns at the end of every service, right? Hearing people's concerns and holding space for them. This is the practice of loving kindness, of comforting, calling to mind the troubles of others, and wishing them peace and joy. Everything in the universe is created by our own mind. Our mind is the source of all phenomena. So, thoughts and prayers, practicing loving kindness, holding space, well-wishing, some might say manifesting. This is the true action of creating the universe in which we wish to live. But there is another aspect we can consider. In his book, Returning to Silence, Jikai Dainin Katagiri talks about how we can approach world peace in the face of war. And he says, if we want to fix some aspect of the world, if we want to have a peace movement, it is necessary to remember that armament and disarmament are the same thing, in the sense that they are a principal doctrine created by human ignorance. If we attach to the idea of disarmament, we create a problem. On the other hand, if we attach to the idea of armament, we create still more problems. Temporarily, we use this disarmament as an idea through which we can approach peace. But this disarmament is just an idea. We cannot hold on to it as opposed to armament, because if we do, finally, under the beautiful flag of disarmament, we will fight. And about the idea of peace, we will fight. What kind of peace is this? So Katagiri is telling us, be careful when we conceptualize two sides. We see this division everywhere in our world today. Our side, their side, us and them. But we have to remember that us and them are not separate, intrinsically existing things. You cannot take away one and leave the other. And to believe so is delusion. And some of you might be like, what is he talking about, right? So let me say it like this. You have a left hand and a right hand. Most of us are born this way. Left hand, left foot, right foot. But if you take away the left, then what do you have? Without the left, the right ceases to exist. How would we know darkness if there was no such thing as light? It didn't exist. How would, I know what a good day is because I have bad days. Each depends on its opposite, to be and not to be. And our minds make these distinctions, and then we view them as separately existing phenomena, but they're not. They're distinctions or as Katagiri says, ideas. And they're a part of the third skandha, thought or perception, which, as we just chanted in the Heart Sutra this morning, is empty. It's empty of self, of being a separately existing thing. So light, dark, good, bad, armament, disarmament, left, right, each completely dependent on the other for its existence. To sort of hit the nail on the head, I can take out disarmament and armament and add any of these distinctions. For example, if we attach to the idea of left, we create still more problems. Temporarily, we use left as an idea through which we can approach real peace. But this left is just an idea. We cannot hold on to it as opposed to right. Because if we do, finally under the beautiful flag of left, we will fight. And about the idea of peace, we will fight. Distinctions, right? Our mind really wants to make them. So now we get to where I always hear Venerable Yongsu say, where the rubber meets the road. What do we do when one side is hurting us? Like we're all over here in the dark and the light is hurting us. Or we're all over here on the left and the right is hurting us. What are we supposed to do? So full disclosure, I had some stuff written here, and this morning I decided to throw it out. Yesterday I sat in a class here on the fundamentals of Buddhism where I heard Venerable Sunshin say the most beautiful words about the Noble Eightfold Path and how we can use the Noble Eightfold Path in our lives. We know that this was one of the first teachings the Buddha gave, that there is a cessation of suffering, and here is the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. So what I had previously written here, after what are we supposed to do, was, I don't know. I wish I knew how to make the whole world better, for everyone to stop hating and hurting each other. And that I could just do it, and then that would be that. But I decided this morning that it's not true, maybe, that I don't know, or at the very least, I can't, as a Dharma teacher intern, sit up here and say, I don't know. Like this is, again, one of the first teachings, I think, of the Buddha, the path that leads out of suffering. So I had written what I do know is perhaps the next best thing. I know what doesn't work. But what I did this morning was I saw that what I had written here about what doesn't work has so many parts of the Eightfold Path in it. So not to get into a teaching on the Eightfold Path, if you're new to it, it is skillful view, skillful thoughts, skillful speech, action, skillful livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and meditation, these things that we can employ in our daily lives to lead us out of the suffering that we experience. And I think that my mind, when I said I don't know, was making a distinction. It was saying, well, I can use these things to lead myself out of suffering. I know how to do it in my everyday life, right? Because I'm broke and I can't buy groceries, if that's the case, or that, these little things that I encounter, or that, my neighbor upset me, my boss made me mad. I can use, I'll have right view and right thoughts, and I use that. But when confronted with the war in Gaza, or the suffering that governments bestow on people, I went, well, I don't know. Because of that distinction in my mind, that it was another thing, but it's not. It's also a thing that we can use the Eightfold Path on. So as I say what I had written about, I know what doesn't work, and I'm going to relay that to you. You can think about, does it have skillful view or thoughts, skillful speech and actions? Because I saw that in what I had thought. I saw that in what I have written. But I said that, and what I would say to you is that fighting is easy. I have fought all of my life against everything, right? I fought against injustice I fought the system. I fought the right and the rich. I fought racism. I read Malcolm X Speaks when I was 17 years old. And, from then on, I had been a full believer in Brother Malcolm's doctrine of by any means necessary. And it feels good to fight a righteous fight. And there are so many fights, righteous fights, to be fought. But what happens when you fight the world? One thing I can tell you is the world fights back. Again, Thich Nhat Hanh, the quality of your life depends on the seeds you water. If you water the seed of peace in your mind, peace will grow. If you water the seed of anger, you will become angry. The seeds that are watered frequently are those that grow strong. So I had watered the seeds of fight and of resistance, of disgust, and sometimes even hate. I have watered seeds of anger and indignation and sorrow. And what didn't happen was I didn't manifest a better world for myself or anyone around me. Around the same time that Malcolm X was telling us or enlisting us to fight by any means necessary, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was telling us returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. People often look at me and assume I'm a hippie. I don't know why they would do that. The vice president of my company is always calling me a hippie. He's a good guy, but he's like, hey, hippie. And to them, this means that, being a pacifist, peace and love, make love, not war, so on and so forth. And I do believe in those things, in loving kindness and compassion. But what I always want to tell people is that, what they don't understand, I think, is that it's not about this vision of naivete that people associate with hippies and peace and love. And, like after work, I just go skipping home through a field of sunflowers, like grinning like an idiot, like. And I wish that they knew that I don't believe in loving kindness and compassion out of some idealistic sense of altruism, but that I know from experiential knowledge, from all of the fighting that I have done, that it's the only way. It's not the easy way, okay? Loving kindness and compassion for everyone in the world, it's not the easy way. It's the hard way, or it is hard, I should say. But if you want to elicit social change, if you wish to manifest a better world for all of us to live in, being the love that you wish to see in the world, being the peace that you wish to see in the world, it's the only way to reach people. All right. Now we'll have a short meditation. Make yourselves comfortable for meditation. We'll begin and end with the bow. Okay. Now we will take a moment to hear joys and concerns of our fellow Sangha members. And this is a way that we can practice the four measurables of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity by sharing in the joys and concerns of others. Gail has a mic, and you can raise your hand if you'd have anything you'd like to share.
Hi, my name is Vanessa. I have a joy. I believe I found long-term housing for my son and I. So that's really exciting.
Good morning, Sangha. My name is Shane, or Juesh and Sue. I'm really grateful, and my joy is, for one, my wonderful partners here with me. And last week I had my interview for a promotion, and I feel like it went really well. So if you guys just keep sending out good vibes and good thoughts and prayers for that, it would be a huge life-changing increase in pay. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Eric. I'm a beekeeper, and this year I have a lot of concern for beekeepers throughout our nation. Most people have suffered about a 50% loss in the colonies. I also lost about 50%, and I think it's going to be a really hard year for beekeepers to recover, and also for agriculture. So just hold the bees in your heart a little bit for me.
Anything online? Nothing online. Oh, there are a few more over here.
Oh.
This morning, as a state, we all experienced a tragedy of daylight savings time, and I if you feel off, that's why, and we're all gonna feel off together. So every year, twice a year, I work with kids too, so it's very obvious when things are off. So just be nice to yourself and others.
Good morning. Lately, I've been contracting a lot of people's anxieties about their continued employment, because I'm also a federal employee. But then I realized I could just get over it. If I don't have a job, I'll just get another job. And I spoke to someone close to me, and I asked her if I was to move in with my parents. She said that she would move with me, so I was thankful for that. And I realized that just because something changes doesn't necessarily mean that it's a complete loss. So I'm just taking things as they go.
Morning, Sangha. My name is Chungo Su, or Ashton. I was kind of hesitating whether to share this or not. It's kind of a personal thing. So if I were to share that I spent most of the day remediating like a loved one's bed bug infestation, you would all probably say, "Ooh, concern." However, it was a really joyful experience. It was terrifying, but the impact that it had, and just the hope, and just being in like a really vulnerable place with this person, and like being able to give that, I feel just very joyful about it and wanted to share that. Also wanted to share, I also have an interview coming up, so prayers are also welcome. Thank you all.
All right. All right. Let's take just a moment to hold those thoughts and those joys and concerns. Okay, some March announcements. We have a online meditation group that meets via Zoom on Wednesdays from 6 to 6:45. For more information on that, if you're interested in the online meditation group, you can contact Venerable Kunga. Our Dharma discussion group meets here at the temple on Thursdays from 9:30 to 11. We're reading The New Saints by Lama Rod Owens, and it's a wonderful book. And you don't have to have read it or even have it. You can just show up if you want. We read a little bit, and then we mostly talk about, a couple of sentences. We don't make a whole lot of progress, but we do a lot of talking. It's a good group. We have a Avatamsaka Sutra study group that meets bi-weekly on Thursdays from 7 to 9 on Discord. You can contact Will Allington or see the newsletter for more information. And the Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple board meeting will meet Sunday, March 16th at 11:30 here at the temple, downstairs in the community room, and all are welcome to join, to observe, to be a part. So, and our Buddhist-based recovery meetings, Mondays, 6:30, meditation, 7 p.m. We meet here at the temple on Monday. Wednesdays at the All in All Club, 6:30. And Fridays, 10:05 for meditation and 10:30 here at the temple. Or you can join on Zoom. For more information on all of those things, you can sign up for our newsletter or find the information on our website at zengr.org. Any other announcements?
Good morning, Sangha. My name is Ellen. The word dana in our practice means generosity. And that comes in all shapes and sizes, whether it's happening here or out in the real world. No one here at the temple, I mean, nobody receives a paycheck, not our board members, not our tech support. No one does. So everything that happens here is because someone is being generous with their time. If you would like more information about what you can do here, as far as maybe a greeter, maybe helping out with the tech support, a board member, a Dana announcer, okay, just a little hint there. The person directly behind me is the person that you need to contact, and that person has a lot of information. Also, I've been dying to use the term dry goods because it's like from the covered wagon days. And I love that whole dry goods thing. And we need dry goods here sometimes. Toilet paper, paper towels, tea bags, dish soap, so on. The person you need to contact for that information is right over here, Nikki. Also, last and least, there's that financial support that the temple needs to keep the lights on and pretty soon the air conditioning. And we have a Donna box right at the end, right behind Gail. There's a Donna box, which is happy to receive cash or check. There's also a QR code there that will take you directly to PayPal. You can set up a one-time donation to the temple or a monthly, which can be changed at any time you'd like. Also, if you're at home watching us on YouTube, hi Ben, there's a drop-down menu that will also take you directly to PayPal. And last but not least is the temple's website, zengr.org. There's a drop-down menu there, so have at it.
Thank you. Sunshin has an announcement. Real quick before I hand the mic over to Venerable Sunshin, I wanted to say about the Dharma Disciple group, the group that Ellen had said about, that you could see me about tasks that, being a greeter and incense lighter, and many other things that we do here at the temple. I want to say also that Chungosu, I had asked to help me with, do some organizing on this group some months back. And what really happened was Chungosu started doing everything. So, so thank you for that. But please also see Chungosu or myself if you're interested in any of those things. And we do have a QR code for the Dharma Disciple group, again, which is just helping out with any of the tasks around the temple. If you're interested, you can scan the QR code. I think it's going to take you to our email, and you can shoot us an email about that. So.
Thank you all. My name is Sunshin. I wanted to just make a brief announcement about something that's kind of still in the works. We are starting a mutual aid group here that's going to be facilitated by myself and Young Soo. It is basically going to be a group to try to come together to, pull our resources together, also try to outreach into the community a little bit more. And I want it to be led by us as a Sangha. I don't want it to be somebody at the top telling everybody what we should be doing. So if you want to do more and you want to create a active Sangha here in Grand Rapids and in the temple, please feel free to email me. And we'll be having our first meeting after the talk here on April 20th, I think. So we got a little bit of time. So, and let's get together and put our resources together and see what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Are we at closing gathas? I think we are. Let's stand for our closing gathas. What page are we on? Thank you. Together we say, for all
Unskillful actions ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. In endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to enter. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain.
And if we want to split the room in the center, and those on that side face this way, and us on this side can face that way, and we can give each other a closing bow. Thank you all. Thank you very much. If you'd like to straighten your cushions, please. Someone will come around and be collecting chant books. Just try and generally leave things the way we found them. Much appreciated about that. Thank you all. Have a great day.